YouTube shave fans, super curve honing fans, type 2 diabetes, rescue by keto fans, and carnivore eating fans, the proper human diet. Bill here. I'm making another movie a lot quicker than I thought I would, for a good reason. I had suggested a hashtag to kind of identify a group of friends and that kind of stuff. What I didn't realize was that in the hashtagging rules, okay, there's only certain characters you can put in there, and you cannot put a hyphen in there or a dash or a backslash. You are allowed to put in an underscore, and then it seems, I don't know if great minds think alike or whether the Cajun Blade Eric picked it up, and I saw on his, he used the term razor, R-A-Z-O-R, capital R, razor, capital N, capital S, straight, okay? And I thought that was probably better than my idea, and it does seem to work. So that's going to be, for those of you that picked up on the hashtag, that's the hashtag I'm going to use. We're going to see if this works. I don't know if it is or not. So I'm doing a shave today that's kind of a little different. I try to do a little different things. What I'm going to be using is, it's kind of going to be an inexpensive, for the most part, an inexpensive shave. I'm going to be using the inexpensive boar brush, okay? And I'm using the No Man's pre-shave. That means no pre-shave. And Eric had sent me a text during the week, and he had said he had used the Sterling Electric Sheep, which is a sheep tallow, and it has a lot of citronella in it. It kind of smells like a skeeter chaser candle, and a heavy dose of menthol. And I had heard people describe that as Arco on steroids. And I thought, I have not shaved with Arcos, but a couple of times. Somebody gave me this stick because I had never shaved with it. This is one of these things that people, it's kind of a dividing type thing. Not as bad as whether you shape your razor sharpening stones in a curve or not. But people say, to me it smells, this has been open, it kind of smells like ivory soap, okay? But there are people who have said, well, they use it smells like a urinal puck or whatever. I don't get that. But in economics, okay, using a cheap boar brush, I know people who this is all they use, okay? They just use this and they don't have a problem. They don't got to go out and buy expensive soaps from Mac and Myers, Snake Oil, and Suds. Not making fun of any soap makers here, okay? Making fun of, in a way, people who think that spending more means necessarily better. I don't think it does. I like to spend more on some things. I like to experience some of the luxuries that the shaving hobby has to offer. A lot of people would think I go overboard, okay? And a lot of people who go overboard think that I need to go overboard. Anyhow, if you have never used a shave stick, you can get these on Amazon you can get a box of these. It's like $1 something a stick. Okay, and on one of these sticks, I think you can. One of my mentors, straight shaving mentors, this was like all he used all the time, and I think he may not have been trying to really stretch his pennies, but he was frugal with the cost of his shaves, and it was not uncommon for him to shave every day for about a third of a year with one of these things. So $1, okay, for your soap, okay. So there's something you can do, and I usually don't face lather. A lot of people do, okay, but with a stick you almost have to, and I think one of the reasons I use the No Man's Pre-Shave, or Man's No Pre-Shave, was because when you face lather, you kind of have to get a little bit more scrubbing action on your skin, and it helps wet the hairs out better, I think. I don't smell a urinal pot. I do smell like ivory soap. I did look at a magnifying glass. Oh. For those of you who haven't seen the news in the last whatever, I mean, if you're like me and you only spy in on forums every once in a while, sometimes you don't catch this. But another long-standing historic soap maker has bit the dust. So Mitchell's Wool Fat, I don't know if they're out of business now. There's still some of that still on the market in the pipeline, but they're not going to be making Mitchell's Wool Fat anymore. I don't know why. I don't know if it has to do with Brexit. I don't know if it has to do with, the taxes in the EU. I really have no idea. But I do know that Mitchell's Wool Fat is going to be no more. It is one of those type of things that kind of leads me to believe, okay, that shaving is a hobby as I knew it, and as some of you who got into it in what I think was a peak revival season, kind of follow, especially with the straight razor, especially following the James Bond Skyfall movie where they used the straight razor. I think it's on the decline. I'm hoping that people can find some of the same enjoyment that many of us have. The razor today is, I forgot to say that, is a Thiers Issard 5/8 Le Grelot. It is their Carbon Song C135. I think that's what they call it, C135 steel. Their main steel nowadays. This one, and I've seen a couple of these, in this is a unique blank form that there's not a lot of razors. It's a 5/8 and it has this thumb notch. That's why I bought this. And Le Grelot, I'm not French, Le Grelot, okay, is just a name that they stamp on. It is a trade thing that they have, and there is some etching with the little bells and that on the spine work on this. But it does not necessarily mean anything. They have a lot of razors where they put the little bell on the thing, and they call it that. It's just a name. Many times I wondered why this same kind of thumb notch thing, you find that in the majority of Thiers Issard's offerings in the 7/8, and then you see it drop down, not so popular in the 5/8, and I often wondered why you just don't see it in the 6/8 range. And while if they did offer one, I would probably want it. I can't buy everything, but I would probably want to have one, because I do enjoy seeing the different blank forms. That the razor makers have. And the reason I think that they didn't do that, and maybe I'm glad they didn't do it, is because their 6/8 format, the one they usually use, where it has the longer shank and the shape of the head where it reaches out a little bit farther. The blade width is not any different, Okay, but they seem to grind that thinner, in my opinion, and it seems to be, to me, to be one of the highest performing razors that are made today. So, I don't know if it would cannibalize that. I don't know if it's just the expense. I don't know. But the 5/8 also has that same blank format, although not in the 6/8, it's in the 5/8. And I don't know, I haven't read on it. I mean, you can go on Thiers Issard website and look at the blanks and that kind of stuff. I don't know if they call this their singing razor. I don't think that they do grind thin, and some of the razors do sing, and you don't get the flexibility in the C135 that you get in some of the other steels. But I don't know that this one is ground quite as thin. Not that it's a problem. Big advantage getting under the nose with a 5/8 razor over 6/8 or 7/8. So you wouldn't think there'd be that much with a 6/8, but there's enough. 6/8 just happens to be the size that I kind of prefer the most. So I'm hoping, since I get 2 videos out this week, that I'm not going to ramble on too much and get the shave over with and get her done. So I forgot, I did put on my last video in the end, I did put a Merry Christmas in the end there, because I realized that as I was compiling the movie together in the software that I use, which is just on my phone. I don't do it on my phone, I do it on my iPad, is iMovie. And I realized I didn't wish anybody a Merry Christmas, so I'll put that in there. Now, I'll probably not be doing another shave before Christmas. I highly doubt that. So I will take this opportunity to wish everyone that tunes out into me a very Merry Christmas. If your faith is of that different than mine, and you have a holiday celebration this time of year, I do wish you a very happy and well and healthy holiday of your particular faith. So I did look on the magnifying glass at Arco, and it does have, you got really look, it's a real small print on there because I got every language in the book on that. It does have, I think, sodium tallow, so it is a tallow-based soap. Now, what I don't find with Arco, now maybe it's my lathering technique. That's one of those things that if I used it all the time, it would be one of those things that I could play with. It's certainly inadequate soap. I don't like this soap as much as I like, it's no secret. Sterling is my favorite. Got me. It ain't bleeding when I'm done. I didn't cut myself. If you're new to my channel, it's a joke that Leon and I have. Leon likes to shave really, really well and make sure there is no sight of a hair on there. So he enjoys it. He cuts himself. I cut myself usually probably almost every shave. Sometimes I think good enough is good enough. But if I was much more active, I would probably cut myself a little bit more. So the inside joke is, if it ain't bleeding when I'm done, I didn't cut myself. So that is 2 passes. That's pretty good on 2 passes. So that little bit of soap off of the stick certainly generates plenty of lather. I don't think by weight, if you weighed the soap, how much I'll call it soap solids is used. And that might be why some of these hard soaps that I just don't necessarily impart as much of that soap into the shaving process as I do with a softer soap. That's one of those things that, when is it good enough? So I can see my Arco starting to unravel. Better get using it. This razor was one of the, when I got it, I think I took it with the factory edge. I didn't necessarily like it. And it was really probably one of the first reasonably good honings that I had done since I've been straight razor shaving with flat stones. And I don't remember what I used. I might have used cauticles, I'm seeming to think. But I did have somebody come on in one of the set the bevel guys. Which I get the term. I get it, It's not wrong. Sometimes it's a little... And I've never really bought into some of what I read early on in the set the bevel philosophy that you could take your 1K stone or your 2K stone or whatever your beginning stone is, and you should be able to shave off of that, because I tried that. It was always really, really rough. So, but what happens, there's a little bit of an imperfection in here, in this razor. And so whoever it was, they slammed me for not setting the bevel or whatever. And okay, so maybe I didn't set the bevel, but I knew there was a spot on there that I was going to have to do one of two things. So this is a little bit bent. Okay, so I would really, really have to hone a lot away and lose a lot of create some wear on the spine on this. Okay, to get it to match up, or I was going to have to differentially lean a little bit on there. And you kind of have to do that on convex honing anyhow, but it's a little bit easier because you're isolating it. You're not honing the whole width of the spine and then leaning on the one part on the edge. You're kind of, if this is the part that needs it, this is the only part that gets the work. And that's me. It's what I like. It's what I do. That's all I'm here to talk about. I'm not here to tell you that you got to do what I do, because I don't care what you do. And shaving with this compared to those Razor Saber France razors that I used yesterday or the day before, whatever day it was, they're really, really thin, and that's where this is not as thin. And for me, a thinner grind equates to a greater level of comfort. Okay, now I'm going to do something that I used to do pretty regularly. I don't do it much when I straight razor shave, but if you have an area that you want to touch up, for me, I'm wanting to touch up here. I have seen it done where you splash a little bit of witch hazel. This Lucky Tiger aftershave face tonic is mostly witch hazel. Okay, and for whatever reason, witch hazel does seem to help a razor cut better. I really don't understand it. I don't know. No, I've never. Certainly it helps on the cleanup where you're just trying to pick up a little bit of the stuff left behind. It kind of lubricates the skin enough. I really don't know. It is a good trick. Try it and see if it doesn't help you out. I'm still going to put alum stone on it and then come back with some more of the Lucky Tiger. Alum stone stops the leakage. And I get a little bit more sting when when I'm hoboing it along and I'm not shaving but once a week or whatever. It's not as stingy as it is when I started straight razor shaving, I decided I wanted to learn it. I shaved it every day with a straight razor, whether I needed it or not, because I wanted to develop skills in that, and it served me well. It served me well. You don't have to do that. It's commonly believed that 100 shaves is a good number for the number of shaves that it takes to become comfortable and proficient in shaving with a straight razor. And since I came from a group where I kind of focused on different shave techniques over the hardware that you were using, they focused on that. And if you were learning to shave, the focus was to be using one set of stuff for 30 days. And since I had learned that way and acquired skill that way, I thought that I would apply that to straight razor shaving, and I would just use nothing else for 100 days straight. So the big bottle, and this is, I think a guy sent me this because he doesn't like Brute. Okay, he had this, and this was around. I think this was on sale in stores, like when they had that, it was like on sale for $19 or something like that. You get this big old bottle, and it's like, this is, it says cologne on there, so it's I guess kind of the stronger stuff. It's definitely stronger than the classic splash on that you buy on the shelf, and it has a little bit different scent. Those that have had, there's a couple soap makers that have made soaps after Brute, and the soaps smell more like this than they do that other stuff. So, but that's an enjoyable thing. And I'm gonna finish off with when I got talc, I ordered a bunch of talc from stuff that was made in England. It may have been made in Pakistan or mine in Pakistan. I don't know. But this was online. This Peck and Sniffs England or whatever. And this was, I looked at this. I thought grapefruit and citron. I thought, oh, I might like that. Grapefruit and citron. So I bought some of it, and then I kind of joked. People laughed at me when I said this, because what does it smell like? Okay, and for me, it smelled like a vinyl plastic, like a vinyl shower curtain. I used to have a customer that printed on vinyl decorative type things, and this is what it reminded me of being in this plant. So I usually the other shave I noticed I didn't necessarily do that. A lot of times I'll use my powder cannon, okay, but and a lot of people will use a brush to dabble in their powder if they choose to finish with a powder. I suppose the good thing about this is if you were using this and then dressing up to go out, you don't get that cake face. You can kind of wipe it off. Plus, you can wipe off if you got any. I didn't get cut. I ain't bleeding. So that's the shave. A little less time than usually. A little less. This is Bill out. I am wishing all you a very Merry Christmas. Enjoy. Take care, and remember, razorin straight. Okay. So let's try it, guys. Let's see if it works, and then because I'm dragging on with this a little bit, okay, because one of the things that I found in forums where you become social with people, I find at some point in times, at points in your life, you find it difficult to keep up with everybody, okay, and you want to, but sometimes you have to deal with life. And if you miss something or whatever and you need to get back into it, I'm hoping that the hashtag will just, okay, so here's all the recent stuff, and then you can just get right back in, and you might have missed a couple of beats, but you'll catch up with it as it goes along and get to see all the stuff everybody's using and everything like that. So again, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you all. This is Bill out. Take care. Bye.